States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please note the presence of all 5 board members. The agenda, we have 2 items to table or remove, which is N4C and N4E, is that correct?
And those are both under personnel.
We have a motion to approve the agenda as amended. Mr. Reed makes the motion. Mr. Hall will second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And next we have the minutes from December 2nd. Do we have a motion for approval? Mr. Hall makes the motion. Mrs. Keene will second. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next we have delegations.
We have one delegation, person to speak tonight, that's Scott Wyndham.
Mr. Wyndham?
It's dangerous to give a lawyer an open mic, so I've been told I've got 5 minutes. I'll try and use them wisely. I'm here as the husband of the lovely, understanding, caring wife, Ellie Wyndham, who is the art teacher at the high school. And last month, she, along with Mr. Flesher, Mrs. Barch at the middle school, and some others, had a related arts extravaganza, or whatever it was called. And as has been done for, I think, at least 8 years, her students had art for sale. That sale was stopped 15 minutes after 6, and she was told she could no longer do that. Now, I don't know what transpired exactly, but I do know that the children were hurt, and she was definitely hurt. And I'm not here pointing fingers, casting blame, but I am here to make sure it doesn't happen again. And more importantly, to ask this board and the administration to facilitate a way to make this happen. Figure out how to help these kids, not just stop something and not fix it. Apparently, the sale was advertised for 2 weeks. It's been going on since Mrs. Hott was principal, since Mrs. Wagner was principal. This is not something new. But it was stopped. And there are other events where sales can take place. And I certainly don't want anybody to take this the wrong way. I support the FFA 100%. I go to the fair and buy animals. I buy eggs. Those kids are able to get money. At the end of the fair, the FFA students get money for their $1,000 for their dozen eggs, $1,500 for a goat, $5,000 for a steer. They get money. Whatever it is that enables that to happen should happen at this art sale. Whatever accounts are available to pay the FFA students, make that available to the art students. Allow these students to sell a $20 painting, a $40 painting, whatever it is, a piece of sculpture. There's no reason why it shouldn't happen. And we can make it happen. I just implore you to make it happen. Find a way to make it happen. Because it just hurts the kids. I mean, it hurt my wife as the art teacher. But it hurt the kids. And that's not what we're here for. So, I'm sure my 5 minutes is close up. I want to ask you all to please find a way, work with the administration, work with the art department, work with the related arts, work with the principals. Find a way to allow this to happen, just as we do for the FFA. I think that it is a wonderful opportunity for these kids, and it means a lot to them at Christmas to have a little spending money, maybe to buy presents for their families. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other delegations?
No other delegations.
Communications?
We do have one piece of communications that I have placed in front of you. We had a gentleman come in to see us in our office and ask us, his name was Dana Hott, to provide each board member with his letter summary as well as some information that he had picked up at town hall meetings about Hope Gas and some information that they are doing at these town meetings going over containing the purpose was talking about farm taps, and he just wanted us to provide you that information. So in your packet, we have provided you the information that he asked us to. And that's all we have in communications.
Next is recognitions.
We are so excited tonight that we have recognitions, and we have guests here this evening that we would like to take a few minutes and recognize. We have 3 of them. I will call them up one at a time, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about each one of them and the award that they're receiving, that we are honoring them for here tonight. Our first one will be Braden Hott, and Braden is one of our football players, and Braden this year has made first team All-State as a kicker. And so we are here to honor him tonight. I'm going to give you a little bit about his background. He's played football at Ritchie County High School for 3 years. His junior year, he was second team All-Conference as a kicker and a punter. And also that year, he was honorable mention All-State. As a senior, he was first team All-State LK as a kicker. And then as we are here tonight to honor him for his All-State recognition as first, as a kicker. So come forward. Congratulations. We can get our picture. Anybody want to join us on that? You'll come in the middle and take pictures. And Jason's going to join us on this. We're going to take turns tonight getting people on here. We'll still like in the picture. Congratulations. And our second individual that we would like to honor tonight, I have to get glasses on to read my notes, is Cole Walgeman. And Cole, the WVSSAC Academic Achievement Awards Program for this year, they give different honors through academics as well as community service. Each county gets to give a representative, in male and female, of an athlete that does community service in their area. And Cole was recognized as this year's recipient for the state as the Male Community Service Award winner. With that, he received a scholarship of $1,000, recognized at, if you went to any of the state playoff football games, he was on the big screen with some of his pictures and his accomplishments with that. And he was invited to a banquet in December where he received his award. So I would like to congratulate Cole for representing us and for the award he received. Nancy, your dad come in. We'll say, Sonya's got to take your picture. Congratulations.
Ryan, come join you for this.
Ryan, go join me on this
I
one.
did play against him in Little League.
Is that?
We're a little tight. Good to have you both gone. Still do.
Not true, was it? Thank you.
Good job.
Very proud of you. And next on our agenda, we have another student to honor. This is exciting, and ask Mr. Flesher as well to join us tonight. Middle school has started an all-state band, and 2 years ago last year was the first year of it. This year, we had 4 students at Ritchie County Middle School who tried out for All-State Band, and we had 1 young lady that was selected to be able to participate in All-State Band, and that is Jalen Schaefer. She has been in the band since she was in 6th grade. She's a middle school 8th grade student. She got to participate in the high school marching band, and she was selected as one of 8 musicians on the French horn to participate with the All-State Middle School Band in Charleston. They'll rehearse March 6th and 7th, and then they will do a concert at 5 p.m. on March 7th at the Civic Center. So we are thrilled to have our first member of the All-State Band from middle school. So, would you like to join us, Mr. Fletcher? And I asked him to come to like fill in any gaps that I missed in my conversation. Congratulations. Thank you. And Misty, who wants to join us? Denny?
Misty, you got.
Okay,
That's
great.
you.
Hey, Jason's coming. Jason likes to have his picture taken. We're glad he's there. Mr. Thank you, and congratulations. Thank you. Mr. Fletcher, would you like to add any more? Did she have to try out, or how did it go?
Yeah, so the audition process for middle, stay up here. Come here. I'm gonna stand up here by myself. The audition process for middle school is a little bit different than it is for high school. In that early in the school year, sometime in the middle of September, they received audition music. So all students on their instrument got the same music to audition on. And then it gets sent in electronically through a video submission for a panel of judges to look at their audition material and basically judge them off of their musicality, various things, their tone production, all sorts of different things. They have to audition on scales, which is a building block for music. Then they have what's called a prepared etude that they had to audition on, and she was selected, and we're just thrilled to death. All students worked really, really hard, and it was actually probably her idea that I had to shave my beard off after I found out that she made it, and thank God it grew back. So anyway, very proud of her.
Very proud.
Thank you guys for recognizing me.
Congratulations.
You all are welcome to stay with us, or you may leave if you so choose.
But thank you for coming.
Yes, we do
We
appreciate you coming.
it.
Congratulations.
We appreciate it. Congratulations.
All right, next on the agenda is conducting a public hearing on the development of the 25-26 school calendar in accordance with 18-5-45 of the West Virginia School Laws. Mrs. Hopkins.
So in front of you, you have a calendar from 25-26. It meets all the requirements that are set forth by the state of West Virginia, and there are many of them. Graduation must fall 5 days before. You have to have so many faculty senate days. They have to fall in these months. And it meets all of the requirements as said. This has been shared with the administration, the district leadership team, and they have shared it with the school. From the first one that we designed, we have made one adjustment. This is from some reports back from the first design, and that is that the April meeting is going to be, or the April faculty senate PL day, we moved it to the 24th. We had it on like the 13th, which took an instructional day out of, in front of getting ready to take the SAT at the high school. So we bumped it back a little bit just to adjust to testing. Things that we make sure also happen is on the February 16th, we try to hit how many of our federal holidays we can, because that's important for people in this community that work in federal jobs. So So we have a couple that will fall on federal holidays. You'll notice there is an election day in the spring. This calendar, if you lay last year's calendar down, almost is identical. I mean, it's like, there's, after the holiday after Memorial Day, there's 2 days, and then we're done at the end of the year, and that's this year, there's 2 days, and we're done at the end of the year. This calendar, the high school does finish before semester break. We do have a day coming back, after the holiday, which is a PL day. Some things we've learned from this calendar that we will make some adjustments in. Mr. Wells we will work with him on a plan. If we don't come directly back because of a week of snow, that we will have a plan in place for high school kids and make sure that they see their second semester classes before we go home for Christmas break. And we also will, we're looking at on that Friday of Christmas, it was a half day this year, and we think with some adjustments for teachers we think with some adjustments with some of our length of some professional developments, that would end up being a full day, and I think that would be more beneficial. So we've listened to how this year's calendar has gone, because it's very similar, and we do not have a lot of questions or changes. But if we have, we've made them. If we have more suggestions, we will continue to look at them as a group with our district leadership team and make those adjustments. So I just wanted to meet the requirements, put it out there, and if you have any questions or comments, we'll take them.
And did anyone sign up to speak on behalf of the calendar?
No.
What's the thing?
Yes.
It has happened in the past.
We watch, because of 4-H, we make sure 4-H camp, even our summer programs, we try to work with community groups to make sure we don't hit some of the things they're doing. The fair, we oftentimes make sure that we
We
are.
used to have a lot of business from the extension agent to talk about the calendar
Yeah.
in regards to
Those type of
events.
things. So we make sure when we're developing a meeting. But other than that, that meets the requirement that we have shared with you and had an open forum about the 25-26 school year calendar. It will be on the next agenda as well, and I will let you know if there are any suggestions.
So now it's sent out from our comment. Yes, okay, thank you. Next, we have the superintendent's report and academic updates.
So still in line with calendars, we're gonna talk about this year's school calendar, because when we make any adjustments to it, we need to, make sure that you're aware of the changes that we've made over the past couple of months because of weather and how that impacts us. So first, I will let you know that we have used 3 NTI days, and we've used 3 snow days. The NTI days were December 12th, and then January 9th and 10th. We call them traditional snow days. They're really called equivalent time days, and those are the January 6th, 7th, and 8th. And we've had 1 2-hour delay and 1 2-hour early release. The delay was for weather, and the release was for faculty senate. Both of those also equate and go with our equivalent time. So those are important things that we need to know. We are glad today that we were able to get in school for a full day, kind of get back to some normalcy. We will let you know that because of those changes in the calendar, some questions may come up to you that I want to clarify. When you're looking at the calendar like we just looked at, the grading calendar, someone may say to you, are they going to extend the grading period because they were out 5 days? Okay, that might be a question. The answer to that is, because of the way we build the calendar, you have 180 days of school. We generally have more days in the second semester than we do the first. Couple of reasons: weather. Another reason, testing. We know those are days that instruction is not occurring, so you have to meet requirements for balance, but it doesn't have to be 90 in the fall and 90 in the spring. And so with that said, our fall semesters were 28, 29, and 29 days. Our spring semesters are 31, 32, and 31 days. So already they have more days in them. So at this point, we will not adjust our this next 6 weeks. but I wanted to let you know the reasoning behind that and the logic behind it. So it will remain the same as of now. We also have had to adjust our GSA benchmark that we give in the winter, and it has been moved to the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. We believe that because of the turnaround time with the data, we still will be able to meet all of our points that we do with working with principals on their presentations. They're starting to pull all that together. As you'll see, Jacob tonight will go over some data, and we're starting to work with them on looking at all aspects of their school to pull their presentations together. We have had to move math field day, and it is now, the county math field day has been moved to January 20th. And that is one change because when we bumped the GSA back, it affected math field day. So just wanting to let you know that, again, academics a focus, being in school is a focus, but also a very strong point is safety of children and making sure that we are safe in our travels. I will let you know that I need to do a shout out to many people that have worked to make sure that we could be in school today, but our maintenance department has done an excellent job. They're small in number, but they were able to get out into our parking lots after the snow on Saturday morning. And we were fortunate that we had our staff in school Friday, so our sidewalks, things were pretty clear. And then the work that department did on Saturday made it a better transition to enabling us to get back to school. So we tried to work a little bit ahead of the situation, but as you all know, we don't control the weather, but we have to respond to it in a safe manner. And so looking at the next few days, next few weeks, the next month, we may have another conversation at a board meeting about the effects of the weather on our daily schedule. But I just wanted to give you an update.
Thank you.
That's all.
Okay, next we have director reports, and we'll start with Jacob Clevenger, the chief instructional leader.
All right, good to see you guys all this evening. You should have all of the stack of papers that I laid out before the meeting started. And the first one on the very top should say differences in percentages for DIBELS testing. So I'll kind of start here going over some mid-year data and then get into some attendance data and other information as well. Very excited to present this to you guys this evening. As you can see here on this paper, and I'll explain some really good things happening. We use DIBELS to assess literacy in grades A through 2. It's our primary literacy screener and something that we're required to do through the state of West Virginia and the Third Grade Success Act. It ranges at different topics, as you'll see, all that are crucial building blocks of early literacy. So the first category you'll see there is a composite score, just a summary of everything that they do. We don't look a ton at the composite score because we try to get a little bit deeper and find things that aren't working well for us. You can see a 6% growth district-wide on the composite score for beginning a year to middle of the year. As I've mentioned to you guys before, oftentimes 3 to 5% growth for a school year is really good growth. So we already have 6% at mid-year, so we're super proud of that. The letter names are just simply what it is, students identifying letters early on, primarily in kindergarten and first grade, a 7% growth there. Phonemic awareness, you'll see a 13% growth, which really stands out. Phonemic awareness is segmenting words, identifying letters and sounds within words. We, for a long time, have kind of struggled in this or identified this as a struggle. And when I say struggle for us, it's comparatively speaking to other places. But we really prioritized that this year, and I've been having third grade success meetings with our staff members. We had one, we started the process in October, and that was our first meeting topic, was phonemic awareness. So really excited to see that some of the stuff that we mentioned people are bought into and are utilizing, to see that growth in that. Letter sounds, again, 8% growth. Decoding, you'll notice, again, ties directly into phonemic awareness. 19% growth in that as well, which is a direct correlation of some of the work that we're doing. And going on down the list, you'll see only one that did not make growth, which is oral reading fluency. If we would have done this exact same breakdown a year ago, that probably would have been -10 at this point in the school year. As the Third Grade Success Act goes, and we identify things that we are good and aren't good at, That is going to continue to shrink and then eventually grow over time. But some of our third or fourth graders who may have had a few deficiencies and we're trying to piece things together on, dropped a little bit there, but the rest of our K1 and 2 kids really growing in that area. And then again on comprehension, a 3% growth. So again, with the exception of the oral reading fluency, very, very excited for the growth that our K2 students have made in early literacy. On the back of that page is iReady. And again, as Mrs. Hawk mentioned, we'll be doing our mid-year benchmark testing, which ties into GSA in the coming weeks. So in a future meeting, I'll have that information as well. We just don't have that at this time. But iReady, as you can see, the different categories all growing 5% or higher as well. So very excited about that. Reading category, vocabulary 10%, which is one of the better ones on there. And then numbers and operations at 9% for math. But looking down that list, you can say all of them are 5% or higher, which we're very excited about. Moving on to attendance data, so the next sheet should be an attendance breakdown by school. You can see here the chronic absenteeism rate for all of our schools, again, knowing that our goal is under 15%.
Which one are you on?
I should say attendance breakdown by
This
school.
one? Okay.
Knowing that our goal is under 15%, and that to stay off of state watch list, we have to be under 20%. I think I was standing up here a couple years ago talking about 26% chronic absenteeism, right? Now, if you're looking at the district, we're talking about under 11% chronic absenteeism. So a huge growth in that area. A lot of that work, need to mention the communities and schools, people at our schools who put a ton of work into that. Getting messaging out, contacting families when they're not in school. I know sometimes families probably get tired of hearing from people, but it shows that we care and it shows that we're looking out for students. So very proud of that. The overall attendance rate is at 95%, and then the rate there that says no absence issues, this is our regular attendance rate. So these are students who have 95% or higher attendance. So they're not chronically absent. They're not in that middle range. Those are the students who we're trying to say miss 10 or less days for the school year for any reason at all. So right now, district-wide, we're at 55%. Last year around this time, we were in the 40% range on that. The schools all have goals of 60%, so you can see some are below, some are above. Smithville, the star of the show there was 71% of kids who have attended 95% or more days of school this school year. So again, very excited about attendance data and the way that that is all trending. Before, I don't know, Dr. Jackson, if it was you or Mr. Hall or someone had mentioned on the next page wanting to know the reasons for absences. I remember having a conversation about that at some point. So I ran a report for the first semester so you can kind of get an idea of the reasons kids are missing and the percentages of what those are. So as you can kind of see there, it breaks down everything and gives a description of what it is. Our largest one are unexcused absences, so those are kids who aren't turning in anything. And then the next one, it would be the doctor's appointments, dental appointments, things where they have an excuse from a medical provider, and then followed by parent verified illness, which is my kid doesn't feel good, here's a note that says my kid doesn't feel good. So those three kind of run away with all of it, but you can see other percentages that are in there as well.
Can I ask a question on unexcused absences? If I reach my number of parent there, do I then become one of those? So it may not be just that there's no nodes. Is that correct? Do I remember that right?
Could be technically. I don't think we've had any of those this year yet because people have really taken into that. Some of those would be someone goes on vacation and writes a note that I went on vacation and we say thank you for the note but it's still unexcused are part of those. But the largest part of that is just simply no note.
A question.
Yeah.
There's a 17.66% A-health, illness, injury, health treatment, or examination, and then the same thing is on the 7.6.
The second, I just noticed that as well. The second one down on there would be half days.
Okay.
Should be. So like the first one, the 17.6 would be a full day. And then the next one down, the A-health, the second one down, the 7.69 would be a half a day.
Very astute observation, Mr. Hall.
Yeah.
Well, because my question last time, it was actually kind of about the calendar because parents sometimes, like myself, don't make that appointment for something and you can just pick it up the date based on the day that they're off, which would be the best.
Yeah.
So if I know a half day
But if you combine those, it truly is what it is, because 7.69% of those days are made up of half days. So that number would be double that if you get what I'm saying. So if you combine those, it really is 24% of the total time missed is from that, whether it's a full or half day.
Is there a chance on the 12.17% for early dismissal could be signed out for doctor's appointments?
Yes.
Could be, so it could be even more of those,
Yeah.
So,
When they don't bring notes, is there a follow-up to like put pressure on to bring it tomorrow, or do they just let it go?
There is the school's call when someone's absent. They get an automated call as well. The middle school, high school has a bigger job on that than the elementary. The elementary schools, someone from the building physically calls as well as the automated call. The middle school, high school, just by sheer numbers of kids, that's not always possible. On the ones that are on watch lists and things like that, then yes, that happens. But then there's a 72-hour window that legally we can accept it. So sometimes it may come in and it's 4 days instead of 3 days, or but yes, there is a reminder that goes to them to submit that. Yeah.
Ms. Hawk, do you want to explain, or you want me to talk about the awesomeness of the new calendar download?
You can do that.
Yeah. So, I don't know if everybody knows this. It's super awesome news. I want to tell you about it.
You ready, Jenny?
Very exciting. So, on the school website, you can click on Explore and then Events under the main school and download the entire calendar that we're approving, or the current calendar. And it will download all of those events into your iPhone. And I think it would work with Android as well,
Yes.
as individual events, which is awesome. So you don't have to put all that in your calendar. And you can then go to the individual schools, such as the middle school or high school or even the elementary schools, and then do the same thing where you click on Explore Events, and right by the word events, there's a download button. But I think somebody can make a nice little video, probably put this up on our social media.
And that's our
how to
next
do this,
plan, is
'cause
to-
it's a little
Yeah, we're gonna put
complicated.
some things out on Facebook
Yeah.
and put a video on the website that and send home a thing to kids that say, hey, this is now a feature of
But
the
I
website.
added like, I don't know, 200 events today in like 60 seconds, which like was really great. And I think other school counties have this because they use the same technology company that was just launched, and it's great. I did add the middle school's events. The high school events right now are kind of messed up because there's duplicates for every event, so you don't want to add those. But
They're fixed.
okay, they're
They're
fixed.
fixed.
Which is awesome because all the middle school girls, boys games, wrestling, track, all that stuff can be thrown on there. I just don't know if, well, I know like if the event changed, like if they change the date, that won't change your calendar, just so you know. It's just as of when you did the download. So that's a little fluke, but it's really great. There's something else on the calendar. I don't know what it was, but that's a super awesome thing that people, if you use your iPhone with your calendars and you want all that stuff in there so you can make it to sporting events or do your appointments so your kid doesn't miss school, it's an easy way to have a school calendar. I love it.
I agree with that, and we also at the beginning of the year sent out a refrigerator magnet for families to say,
Yeah.
these are the days my kid, like these are the days we're out of school,
Yeah.
and it may even have phrasing on there of try to schedule appointments when you can. And we talk to like Ritchie Regional and say, hey, if you can, when someone calls in for an appointment, try to make it these time. The Wellness Center, of course, is a huge help to the middle school, high school students when we can get people in. So those kinds of things we try our best to work on. But for some of the specialty type appointments, when you have to drive to Parkersburg or Clarksburg, it is what it is. There's no quick way to get there. But
it's nice if you have it in your phone, so
Yeah.
when you're looking at scheduling,
Yeah.
it may say, no school today, or.
well, when you're standing at the checkout window, right, you don't have your magnet with you, but you have your phone with you, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, every time, yeah. And the other thing that I was gonna say, when you do that, you can create multiple calendars in your calendar on your iPhone. Make sure you add it to a new one you call Ritchie County Schools, or maybe you wanna make one just for middle school sports. That way it doesn't convolute your current calendar, and you can turn that on and off.
to add them, and we decided to add them separately so that the middle school sport, if you only wanted middle school sports, you could set up a calendar for middle school sports. If you only wanted to download high school, and that's why you'll find those on their individual pages, and then the county is just the overall school calendar. And it'll have things like the spelling bee and things like that that affect the whole county. So right now, you would have 3 options to download 3 different calendars. Or you can carry a clipboard. Get the calendar on it.
You should have seen this when my 3 kids were in school. I had multiple things every day.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, and the last thing is, speaking of dates and calendars, just a reminder and a notice of preschool registration dates for preschool and kindergarten, I should say, on May 2nd, 9th, and 16th, which will be held here at the Board of Education office. Other than that,
And as we move forward after we work through our pre-K audit, which is
tomorrow,
tomorrow,
yeah.
then we will specify which school is at which one of these. So the next time we come, we'll let you know which school is at which of these days, but we wanted to let you know that we are planning ahead for
The days are in place, we just don't know who's coming on what day yet,
what day.
until we get further guidance. But thank you guys so much.
I do have one more question.
Yeah.
On the no absent issues,
Yeah.
there is a big difference between Creed and Smith.
Yeah.
Creed's not as good on their, I guess, absenteeism, so wonder why.
It just depends, and some of those on the no absence issues part, that could be a difference in one day. That one is super small window.
I shouldn't have singled out Creed.
No,
Creed and
but
Harrisburg
both of
pretty
them,
close.
yeah.
Smith
You
was-
gotta realize your goal's 60.
Right.
Your goal's 60 for the state, that's what the goal says.
I don't
So
mean they're bad,
even
I
if you're
just-
pointing it out, they're still very close to the state goal, which is set.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all of them, even on chronic absenteeism, being 11 or below, I mean, even the high school, which is at 13, this time last year, the high school, or I guess year before last, the high school was at 27, 28, like, I mean, our communities and schools people have done tremendous work on that. I think the part of it
What's
comes
the-
down to just, I know Creed's had a couple of families that went going on a vacation, and it just
I
varies
guess
on
my
different things.
question, I've seen numbers for almost a year now. Smithville has a magic sauce. What is it? On absenteeism?
It's smallness. I refer back to my 40 years at Ellenborough. You can just handle the situation better, and actually you relate to the families and the kids more.
Yeah.
I really think that makes a
Has something to
difference.
do with it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
But
one of those things we talked about at the beginning of the year, when you look at variables in what affects student achievement, there are many variables that affect student attendance, some of which we can manage, some of which we cannot. And we have to respect and work with the families that are, struggling getting them to school. And I think that you have,
I mean, it
Various
really just
factors.
depends. I mean, one school could get smacked with the flu, or it really just depends on, not to skirt your question, but there are just so many variables that go into that it's hard to pinpoint the exact.
So,
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Lori Wells, the treasurer and chief school business official. I don't have quite as exciting as everybody else. Y'all depends on your definition. That's right. I like it, but we're glad you do.
At first, I want to start with probably some of the, maybe a little less confusing is the supplement transfers that's later on in the agenda. So asking for your approval on supplements, we have received a Parkersburg Area Community Foundation grant, a wellness grant, and I just entered it in the budget. It's $7,500. We received a donation towards your art fund for trips and supplies. It's $2,000. That's a high school trips and supplies is $2,000. A donation towards a middle school special ed class, $300.
Where's this page at?
It was
Is
in
it
your
green?
attachment. No, it's an attachment.
Oh, in the,
So-
okay, I
Title II, and Title I listed on those. And that is where we just received the grant awards from the State Department, and it's matching up the grant with the budget. And then, we received also a Parkersburg Area Community Foundation, for Creed Collins for shoes for students at $1,000. So then, we have transfers, adult basic ed transfer for insurance is $408, Title I school improvement is supplement towards textbooks and software, it was $8,606. CIS grant for supplies, this is FY '24 funding that was remaining, $867. Vocational supplies, FY '23 funds remaining, $3,809. We did a levy transfer for Creed Collins downstairs fire door card reader, and Smithville card reader, $20,380. And Fund 11 General, RCHS Transportation Funds transferred portion for the budget charter for Seaman Trip, $2,910. Any questions? Now I'll move on to the fun pretty sheets. So, behind the two sheets I put on the front, which are your graphs, is all the data that goes into those graphs. I tried to combine it all so it wasn't a huge graph, so some of it kind of gets combined, but each of these is a monthly report. So if you could look at the first one, which is October, I'll kind of go over a little bit of what it breaks down into. So your first sheet is a summary of revenues and expenditures. This is from all of our accounts. I excluded Fund 71, that is the ESSER, because it's already spent out and away. So you'll see the first section is revenues. You have a general, Fund 11, and then the excess levy, Fund 11, capital projects, Fund 51, and special revenue, Fund 61. So your column gives you month-to-date, year-to-date revenue, beginning fund balance, annual budget, and the remaining balance, percent received, and then it compares it to the prior year as well, so you can kind of get an idea of where you stand with the prior year. And so below that shows you your overall summary of expenditures as well. So month to date, year to date, what is actually encumbered right now, current annual budget, and then the remaining budget compared to year-end expenditures from last year. So then when you flip to the next page, this gives you a breakdown of your current Fund 11. This is our general fund. And then it's page 4 gives you the excess levy one. So if you wanted to kind of see the difference between the two. But I did, oh sorry, page 5 is excess levy, page 4 is general. I did try to summarize some of it, so to give you like salaries and benefits, professional services, utilities, cleaning, repair, and maintenance, rentals, construction, student transportation services, insurance, advertisement, printing, tuition, travel, the purchase services, interagency, general supplies, energy, food, books, technology supplies, vehicle supplies, control level equipment, that's basically anything under 5,000 purchase. Land, buildings, equipment, bus replacement dues and fees, and any reserves we have or transfers out. So that is broken down for each fund that we have. So I don't know if you want me to go over each one of these month by month, or you just want to look at the chart to kind of give you an idea of what that second fiscal quarter looks like for year-to-date expenses. But as you can see, if you do look at this pie chart, the big blue, that shows the majority of our expenditures, that is salaries and benefits. And then I did a second one that excluded salaries and benefits, so you could kind of get a better idea of where expenditures are kind of going. So, the majority of ours is supplies and then food service, professional technology services, general repairs, equipment and bus replacement, utilities, insurance, advertising, communication, which, when I talk about advertising, that's your like legal ads that we have to put in the newspaper. Cleaning, repairs and maintenance, travel, and then that is, interagency purchase services. And that's our, like where we've had to pay the virtual academies, that sort of thing, tuition. Any questions?
Thank you.
I know it's a lot of information.
Is this something we would be expecting monthly now, or
Yes.
is this the new system that you've been?
Yes, I'm trying to utilize this so that it helps us by year end and with budgeting.
Well, good luck, thank you.
And so she works on it, but there will be times depending when she comes to the meetings, you may receive it like this one, 3 in a row. Like, you got October and December, so you may end up getting it like quarterly or maybe not exactly. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Next, we have the consent agenda.
Under the consent agenda, I ask that you approve a non-resident student transfer. And then, number 2 is a memorandum of understanding with Ritchie County Family Resource Network, Ritchie County Family Support Center, and Ritchie County Partners and Intervention Team, and Healthy Grand Families with Ritchie County Schools to provide a comprehensive service, support, and referrals. And that is for the remainder of the school year. Approve Andrea Perrine, she is a student at WVUP, in their child development program. She needs to do some observation hours at Creed. We have a second student from WVUP, Kiana Keener, who needs to do some service learning hours also at Creed Collins. And then would like you to approve an additional off-site practice location for the remainder of the winter students. Ask that you approve those as listed on the agenda.
Superintendent's recommending that we approve the consent agenda as stipulated on the record. Do we have a motion for approval? Mr. Nelson makes the motion, Mrs. King will second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have policies.
We're on to policies. You have seen these policies. This is the 3rd time they've been in front of you, and the changes have been made as we've moved forward with any adjustments that we've had. These would be the final for policy 6020, 7120, 7150, and 7230. I ask that you approve those. This would be the 3rd time they've gone out for their 2 meetings and meet the requirements to be approved.
And the superintendent's recommending that we approve policies 6020, 7120, 7150, and 7230 for final approval. Do we have a motion? Mr. Reed makes the motion. Mr. Hall will second. Is there any discussion? Not all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
We then will need to ask for a repeal as when we, went over number 4 listed above, which is policy 7230. We let you know at the beginning that we were taking 2 policies and putting them into one and creating the new policy of 7230. So we will need to repeal the 2 policies that we put together to create the other policy. And that would be policy 7140 and 7210. We ask that you repeal those policies.
Do we have a motion for the repeal? Mr. Nelson makes the motion. Mrs. Keen will second. Any discussion? Not all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. I had a moment because I read Keener on the agenda and I was about to say the wrong thing. Personnel resignations.
We do have some resignations this evening, and that would be, a resignation of Garrett Satterfield as the secretary at Ritchie County Middle School. Michelle Layfield has been our head volleyball coach for many, many years. I'm gonna say in the 20 years. We appreciate her years of service, but she is, giving up, middle school volleyball. Robert Taylor as a substitute cook and custodian, and Jonathan Blankenship as a substitute custodian. I ask that you approve those resignations.
superintendent's recommending that we approve the resignations. Do we have a motion? Mr. Lee will make the motion, Mr. Hall will second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have resignations submitted after publication. Two.
Then I'd ask that you accept the resignation of Holly Haddix Vaughn. She was a mentor for the teacher, the physical education teacher that was at Smithville. He's now moved to the middle school, and she feels like that in best interest of his mentorship that she's going to, that's a long way for her to travel to work with him, so we appreciate her doing that. And then also, Lauren Flesher as a substitute teacher. I ask that you approve those two resignations submitted after publication.
Do we have a motion for approval? Mr. Nelson makes the motion, Mrs. King will second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Got a question. So there's a new PE teacher to be filled in.
Currently, there's a sub in the
Sub.
position. They're interviewing and hoping to make a recommendation soon.
And then she could do that.
You thought that clear through there. And the third one under personnel is to ask you to approve the service personnel job classification review that Teresa Baumgartner works on annually, and we are required to have this posted. And she has the job classification review done as of January 2025, so that requirement.
Do we have a motion for approval of the service personnel job classification review? Mrs. King makes the motion. Mr. Hall will second. Any discussion? Not all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have employment.
We have one that we're asking for, A, to approve a leave of absence. The dates are listed there under FMLA. Also, to approve a substitute teacher. It says Hope Hart. All of us know her by Liz Hart, and she will be working as a substitute teacher for us. Bailey Boley as a substitute secretary, and Crystal Freed will be leaving Smithville, and since we have accepted the resignation of Garabeth, Crystal will be the secretary at the middle school, at the middle school. I ask that you approve those as listed on the agenda.
Do we have a motion for, we're on N, for A, B, D, and F?
Yes. We're on it, yes.
Oh, I see.
I said that, I figured she was.
Mr. Reed made the motion. Is there a second? Mr. Nelson will second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have payment of bills in the amount of $778,913.90. Do we have a motion for approval? Mr. Hall makes the motion. Mrs. King will second. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And next, we have the supplements, transfers, and the revised mileage reimbursement rate. Did you have anything to add?
No, I just ask that you approve those as Mrs. Wells described them to you.
We have a motion for approval. Mr. Reed makes the motion, with a second by Mr. Nelson. Here we go. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We have any requests for agenda items for the next board meeting? Any board member committee reports?
It's not important. I just want to say, one of the things that makes our work so good is that we see each other out in all the student activities. And sometimes there's 4 and 5 of us that we all get. And I just think that's good that we're out and about.
Yes.
I got maybe a question on that. So a follow-up to Scott Wyndham. Will you present something at the next one, or are you gonna take care of that
I think
outside?
we can just make sure that she addresses it.
Yeah, okay. All right.
So, yeah, so, I mean, you have addressed it in some way, and I
Yeah.
believe that you can, yes, tell us how you addressed it. Just tell us.
I didn't mean to bring that up. I just
No,
meant
that's okay.
for agenda for the next time,
No.
if he brought it up in public, or you're supposed to.
But I can respond to that since you brought it up in this section, and that is that the high school will work with the teacher involved and the group involved to put together a team to do a better job of planning, to make sure that things are in place. It will include Ms. Wells to make sure that the finance part is taken care of. I think there is an understanding that through the years things change, and that if we find something that he's correct, it was poor timing, that doesn't make it right or wrong. It should have been handled earlier, it wasn't, can't go back and fix that, so we'll fix it moving forward. And moving forward, we support the arts, we support, I was there that night. I enjoyed that program. I was thrilled this year that I got to go, and we didn't have a board meeting. It's the first one in a while I've gotten to see. So we will work through the steps with Mr. Wells and the departments to make sure that's in place.
Yeah, I don't, his example of kids making money off of 4-H sales, does this board own grounds where the 4-H is?
No, the county
That's
commission.
And-
not a direct comparison because the kids are actually on school property taking money personally.
And our
Comparing
goal,
that to some
our
of the
goal is to
stuff
be a
that's
good,
huge.
our goal is what he's asked us to do, and that is to do what's right by kids, all, but within the realm of what we're legally allowed to do. And that's how we move forward, but we will do a better job of communicating it in a timely manner, so that when we are planning, that we make sure that we all are on the same page. And I think that's the way we have to look at everything that we do. And sometimes it sneaks up on you, and it shouldn't this time. So we'll get it fixed.
You might have been trying to connect it with the high school vote act program to the FFA members.
There's a right to wrong.
Yeah.
We don't need to go into all of that,
Well,
but.
his reference definitely is to like kids getting $5,000 for a steer, and that's awesome for them, but
Yeah.
they aren't on school property.
No.
Making that money. These kids are just making $20 for a game,
Right.
which is nothing, but, and I hope they can make some money somehow,
Right.
but legally, but it's not at all the same.
So Mrs. Wells will help with the high school and the middle school, and we will make sure we have a committee together as we move forward and continue to support the arts, but make sure that we have a plan in place